Triple M rocks Saturday Arvo footy. Triple M rocks the footy. For Harvey Norman Home Appliances.
Laurie, Daley. G'day, Loz.
Hey, Tony. How are you, mate?
Very, very well, thank you, mate. I was reading Paul Kenty, his story today. A lot of Red Bull, apparently, while you're in the coach's box. A couple of drinks and a win, wide awake all night. How are you feeling now?
I still haven't had much sleep, and I've got my daughter's 21st today, so I probably won't get much sleep as well. So she was 21 last weekend, last Saturday when I was away, so she works down here in Canberra now, so we just drove down and, getting ready for a party.
Geez, Loz, we're getting old. Ryan Girdler, mate, congratulations. Wednesday, it was outstanding. We know that Queensland Game 2 are going to come down, obviously, with a bit of a different attitude, probably a different side. What can we do better to make sure that, we get the job done? Yeah,
look, I think, for us, I haven't really analysed the tape yet, but, I thought our performance was first class, and if we can repeat that type of performance, we'll be hard to beat. But obviously there'll be areas that we can improve. Look, on the night I thought, tactically I might have got it wrong a couple of times, some of the things that we did. I'll have to put my hand up there. But, the guys certainly worked hard in defence, and that was sort of pleasing, giving Queensland a 4. Given in particular the first half where their completion rate was very high.
Sorry, but Loz, can you be specific? Like what tactically?
There was a couple of little things that we needed to do a little bit better. I know that without giving too much away, I know that Queensland was sort of pumping our right edge and we were kicking more to our right. And sort of our right edge was doing a lot of work and they got fatigued. And there's some things there that we probably need to change up a little bit. But again, that was just on the night. But obviously, moving forward, we'll address and see where we can improve.
G'day, Loz. It's James Hooper, mate. Congratulations. Certainly well-deserved Wednesday night. So many brilliant performances from so many players, but Andrew Fifita was named man of the match. Did you get a sense at all in the lead-up that style of a performance might have been brewing, or what did you say to Andrew in the lead-up to the game?
Yeah, I think, Andrew has had his, obviously, critics over, a period of time, but one thing I've noticed with Andrew over the last 12 months is that he has really matured. In particular, we had him in camp, I think, in 2013, and he's totally different to what he was then. He's a good fella. He's a guy that can be sort of loud, but this camp he was really focused and having a bit of fun, but not over the top. And he was a guy, just you could sense that he was priming himself for a big game, and he's a guy that people will follow too. So he's got real leadership qualities in there if he wants to really work hard in developing that, because he's a hell of a player, and he's a guy that can do it all on the footy field. And I know that if he applies himself, he could become one of the great front rowers of our game. So. And I suppose that's the challenge for him, is where he sees his career going and what he wants to do with it. Because from a coach's point of view, you look at him and he can just do things that others can't.
Hey, Loz, it's Del, mate. Congratulations on the win, mate.
Hey, mate, how are you?
Good. Mate, I've got to ask you about Nathan Peets. We talked about debutants, and we've been lucky enough to work with Nathan Peets in the All-Stars, and we spoke about it back then. You could just tell he's a bloke that would belong in the Origin arena. His dad was pretty tough, but... Mate, he's very underrated, but I thought he did a wonderful job on Wednesday night on debut. Yeah,
he was fantastic. You know what you're going to get with Peetsy. You know that he's going to give good service. If there's an opportunity to run, he'll do it. Otherwise, it's just good service off the deck. And you know that in defence, he's not going to miss his challenge of making the tackles and being dominant. So, and he's as you know, mate, we've worked with him for a few years now. He's very intense and very professional about everything he does. And, there was not a matter of if he'd handle it. It was just a matter of making sure that when we put him in, if he got the opportunity, that other people were ready to go as well. So, he got his opportunity and he took it, and that's what you want to see. And I think, one thing I've said about State of Origin, is, and I certainly don't want to do it. I'd rather put people in when they're overdone rather than underdone. And, if you put people in too early, it can hurt them and scar them. We've done that in the past, and that's one thing I don't want to do. I want to protect people as much as I possibly can, and when they're in the right shape and the right form, give them a go. And everyone was sort of done that too over the last couple of years, has handled it really well. So I've been very happy with that.
Loz, I don't know if you saw last night. You probably did. Billy Slater, his performance against the Knights. Do you see Queensland arriving in Sydney without B. Slater?
Look, I'm not quite sure. I think I said it in the week. We thought he'd be there for game one. Whether you go back and pick Billy for game two or not, I'm not quite sure. Because I thought their wingers were actually close to their best the other night, Oates and Gay Guy. And wingers these days, they do a lot of work at the back of the field, and you need to be, they need to be making 16, 18 carries and getting well over 120, 130 metres per game. And they use wingers now like extra forwards. So yeah, I'm not quite sure. What I do know is Billy's certainly, the best fullback that I've ever seen, and Darius has been the best fullback over the last 2 years. So it's a tough one for Queensland, and I can totally understand Kevy's the Queensland's position in game one going with Darius, because he has been outstanding and he was their best player last year.
Hey, Loz, there was a lot made about the fact that you moved the captain's run from Brisbane to the Gold Coast, and then when you got there, the session only went for 5 minutes. What was your thinking there? Had you seen enough? Did you think that they were ready to go? Or
Yeah, it was a gut feel. We sort of, along with the high performance staff, we sort of looked at what they did on the Saturday and Sunday in two opposed sessions, and they're pretty good. And we sort of sat down and discussed it and thought, well, let's go in there really fresh. Have no excuses about our fitness. We anticipated a fast game of footy, and that's exactly what we got. So it was sort of more of a gut feel and just on what they'd done in the lead up. And we did one lap, and then I just said, no, that's it. Let's don't worry about doing any more. So basically, our last training session was the Thursday, and it was just a matter of getting our minds around it and what we were capable of doing. But again, that just sort of changes. Sometimes you do a little bit more, sometimes you do a little bit less. But that was just basically a gut feel, that one.
Hey, Loz, speaking of gut feel, mate, I knew when you picked Jared Hayne, mate, there's players that you pick on the B stage that you know are going to perform. Some people came out and said, mate, why is he picking Jared Hayne? We saw on Wednesday night why you picked Jared Hayne. There was that no-look pass he did and that try at the end. And, mate, those games are made for people like Jared Hayne, aren't they?
They are, Dill. And you've got to have, for us to beat Queensland, you need some players that have that X factor. Someone that can do something that others can't. That pass that put Brett Morris away, yeah. No one can do that. The try, not many people would have scored that. And he did a couple of tough carries.
Yes.
Out of our back end, and that went unnoticed a little bit. Sure, like everyone, getting back into that arena, it was a fast game of footy, probably the fastest I've seen that opening 40, and he was buggered like all of them. But he'll be better for that, and I just know that he's one of those guys that just rises and thrives on that occasion, and he'll be better for it. And he is he's just a brilliant player, and he still hasn't lost it. It's once he starts to find his rhythm and plays more games, the Gold Coast will be happy with re-signing him. Let me tell you.
Hey, Loz, you've got 17 exhausted guys. They've just come in. They've just had the biggest win in history up there for New South Wales against Queensland at Suncorp. They've won the first game of the series. Can you take us into that moment and what you said and how you addressed, obviously, the complacency and the things that need to be done to finish the series off?
Yeah, that was pretty easy, actually. I told them to obviously enjoy it because, when you play games of footy, it's very difficult to win, in particular in Queensland and against a wonderful side. So enjoy the moment, embrace it and celebrate it. And You should be proud of your efforts. But at the end of the day, we've won nothing. And we've been in this position before. But, make sure that you don't read or not read, but don't believe everything that's written and said about you, because, people will be patting you on the back and people will be saying, how good it was and, how we'll win game 2. But, being around Origin, I know it can turn very quickly and we need to guard against that. And I think they're all okay with it, but, just to be careful, because, people can build you up and then bring you back down to earth pretty quickly, just the same. So, game 2 will be a lot tougher and we need to be mentally ready, because if we're not, that'll disappoint me, and I'm sure it'll disappoint the players. And this is a great opportunity for us to do something that a lot of other teams haven't been able to do in the last 11 years.
I know one way to put the lid on, because it certainly happened for me watching on the TV, that dressing room afterwards, was to see Aaron Woods in the bikini pants and the sports bra looking like the bearded lady. Laurie Daley, congratulations on what is a sensational effort, and good luck as this series continues, mate.
Thanks very much, guys. Cheers.